your thoughts on what love is?
Love is binding oneself to another person and making yourself vulnerable to them, needlessly so.
You spoke earlier about pain. Is there not great pain in love?
Of course, and I certainly appreciate watching it in others. It's what I'd call a spectator sport.
Not a participatory one.
I like certain other kinds of pain, but no, that's not for me.
Earlier we spoke about the beast. And you said that, and excuse me if I paraphrase, you can control her by loving her. Something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
What draws it out in you?
Seeing the misfortune of others, the pain, the suffering, these exquisite moments like drops of poison. It's those sorts of things that bring her out. And I just try to make my art a reflection of her form.
Do you believe that two kindred can love one another and trust one another?
Well, I'm certain they can trust one another, if they're fools.
Lord Jocelyn de Valois is said to have considered your art exhibit at the release of his grandchild to have been an affront to good taste. It is said that he has written to Prince Callisti asking for your head. What would you say to Jocelyn de Valois on this topic?
Valois said that? Interesting. You know, he wrote to me not too long ago, asking for a favor. I should have known that he wasn't interested in becoming pen pals when he didn't reply to my response. Still, if my artwork was disturbing to him, then that was the point. It was meant to provoke a visceral reaction. Still, I do wish some more of our kind would appreciate the craftsmanship of it, you know? But then, if he does want my head, I suppose I could send it to him.
What would you say to Angeline, whose release party you made your debut at?
Well, I believe I've said what I needed to say to her, that she should she prosper and have a wonderful life amongst the Camarilla.
Do you believe that your work will haunt her through her nights?
Oh, goodness, no. No. My exhibition at her release party is going to make it the talk of the ages, honestly, and what better gift could I have given her? She needn't thank me for that, by the way.
How do you feel about the keeper Maximilian Sepulchris, the keeper of Elysium of Las Vegas?
Well, I don't have any hard feelings towards him. I think he has a stick up his butt.
It is said that your last night in his Elysium enraged him and caused him great personal anguish for unknown reasons. Why do you think the keeper was so distraught?
Distraught? Oh, I knew he didn't like it, but I thought he was just playing that up. Well, many in the domain found my work distressing, but some others, I think it awakened something deep within them that they weren't quite aware of. If it left Max distraught, then I would wager that it reminded him of something that he already knows about deep within himself. Something he's not ready to confront.
It is said that the Tremere leadership of Las Vegas had a great deal of interest in your artwork. Why do you think that is?
Well, I'm not sure. I suppose there must be something in their natural proclivities that gives them an affinity for my particular artistic expression. I suppose if they do enjoy my art, then they can't be nearly so bad as everyone says, can they?
Changing gears for a moment. During the siege of Las Vegas, witnesses reported that some Sabbat warriors called for you by name to leave the safety of Elysium. Can you tell us how these warriors knew you by name and why they desired your presence?
Well, if it isn't already known, perhaps it should be, that I once led something of exciting double life, you see. I was, at the time, using my unique talents as an actress, as well as prior knowledge, to spy on the Sabbat, you see. In fact, I was even the first one to suspect Prince Connery of being a Sabbat infiltrator, but my warnings went unheeded. So, when he ascended to the throne, I was forced to report directly to him, and as you can see, he reported that information directly to the Sabbat, and that is how I ended up in that uncomfortable position. I was lucky to escape alive.
Who did you deliver your warnings to that ignored the sage advice?
Oh, well, I told CW for one, and Prince Wentworth. A few others, I don't remember, it was some time ago. But they didn't listen, and in fact I wound up getting somewhat chewed out for that. Sucks being the Cassandra.
How do you feel about other kindred making large migrations? You yourself have traveled across the world. But what about the idea of 10 kindred, or 20, or even 100 moving to one domain?
Well, don't suppose I've put much thought into it. I moved here from Las Vegas, and before that I was in New York. Back in my heyday, of course.
Well, your heyday is now, madam, I would say.
But of course, let's say in different times, when I moved to a new location, I was accompanied by several others who were very close to me, so I don't see any reason why that can't be a tradition of the Camarilla as well.
So you don't think it would be an undue burden on the resources of a domain?
Well, who are these people that are moving in? Are they worth anything to the domain? Isn't that up to them to prove?
Miss Carver, what is salvation?
Well, you know what? I thought that it was something to do with the Jehovah's Witnesses for the longest time. But actually, and I did not know this at the time, but when I was in Las Vegas, I was commissioned by one of the Tremere there, and she had me create a particularly impressive sculpture, you see. And Prince Callisti told me afterwards that she thinks that commissioner was inspired by this salvation business. She says something about it's a tomb of a dying god, and he and his jailer are rotting there for eternity, and the tomb must not be opened. You know, that sort of pulpish, King Solomon's Mines, Indiana Jones, the Mummy sort of drivel. Did you see that last Mummy movie, the one with Tom Cruise?
Vivian Carver, do you believe that God will forgive you for the things you've done?
God? What God? Come on.